Yes.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Cobi James. So have you ever been to a place so beautiful that just fills your soul and with zen, and that you can actually practically hear the universe talking to you? Well, believe it or not, there's a place like that just 3 hours north of here from our deserts here in Casa Grande. The vistas and scenery of Sedona are breathtaking and inspiring. And if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then you can listen to Sedona talk to you for the rest of your life. So I'll be going over a little history of Sedona and a couple of the things that you can do there, like the culture and the art galleries that are there and the shopping. And then, of course, the beautiful, wonderful scenery that makes it such a huge tourist attraction that it is today. So, Sedona, first Anglo settler was John J. Thompson in 1876. He was the first Anglo person to settle the area. There were indigenous people there before him. But he was a farmer and a rancher, and he worked the land. And then Sedona got its first post office in 1905, or 1902, I'm sorry, when it just had a population of 55 people. And it was named, it got its name Sedona after the wife of the postmaster general. Her name was Sedona Arabella Miller Schnebley, and that's a picture of her right there. It developed as a tourist attraction in the 1950s. People drawn there by the beautiful scenery and the wonderful weather. And in the 2010 census, it had a population of just slightly over 10,000 people. Although if you go there, it seems like there's a lot more people there because there's lots of tourists there. So Sedona is conveniently located off the I-17 on your way up to Flagstaff. It's about 120 miles north of Phoenix and 30 miles south of Flagstaff. It has an elevation of just slightly over 4,000 feet, which makes it have a temperate and semi-arid climate. Weather there is during July, your average temperature there is still about 97 degrees, but it typically does not get into the hundreds like we have here. And it has about 62 days a year of precipitation. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the culture of Sedona. Sedona describes themselves as a community of ruggedly individualistic expression. They have a lot of New Age and metaphysical beliefs there. And you can see that through a lot of their shopping. There's a lot of local artists there that have galleries that you can go visit. There's a lot of metaphysical shops there with crystals and books. One of our favorite places to visit when we go there is called Tlaquepaque. And here's some pictures of Tlaquepaque right here. It's an outdoor shopping village filled with artist galleries, local shops, local eateries. There's even a brewery there. It's filled with fountains, statues. That statue is made by a local artist, by Greg Lawson. And you can see his art all throughout there because he actually has a studio there. And then another crazy thing about Sedona is that it has a one-of-a-kind McDonald's. The picture right there. That's the only McDonald's in the world without the famous golden arches. Sorry. Back in the 1990s when they built that, Sedona had an ordinance in the city. They did not want any buildings with garish colors to distract from the natural scenery. So McDonald's agreed to put in turquoise arches when they built in the 1990s. But the real reason people go to Sedona is for the natural wonders there. So most notably the Red Rock State Park. So Sedona is surrounded by the Red Rocks. The Red Rocks have a unique red and orange color due to a high concentration of iron oxide in the soil. So the iron oxide rusts and we get that unique color. The state park there is 286 acres, has 5 miles of hiking trails. And that is, all those pictures right there are from the Red Rock State Park, and that's us as we were hiking. We had a wonderful time there. There's also the vortexes of Sedona. The vortexes are a naturally occurring energy fields that people believe basically they rejuvenate you and you can meditate. But you can find those at Cathedral Rock and other places all around Sedona. There's also Oak Creek Canyon that you can visit while you're in Sedona. Sedona actually lies on the southern end of Oak Creek Canyon. It's about a 17-mile long mini Grand Canyon. It goes from Sedona all the way up to towards Flagstaff. It's a wonderful drive through trees, winding roads, with the creek on the side. It's a beautiful, beautiful drive. And then, there's Slide Rock State Park there, which is a natural watering hole that you can go with your family. It's great for picnics and swimming. So, I know in our current times, we're not supposed to be out and traveling with the coronavirus around. But when that time does lift, I strongly urge you to go out and take a visit to Sedona. It's one of my favorite places to visit in the state of Arizona. And, you know, I said earlier that a picture is worth 1,000 words, but actually when it comes to Sedona, that's not true, because one view of Sedona will leave you speechless. So, all right, now I'll leave it open to anybody have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Slide Rock. Do you know, like, why is it called Slide Rock?
Well, because of the water that's there, it's eroded the rock and it's made it very slippery. And so there's like a little actually portion that you can like actually sit down and kind of slide down.
So
it's not
travertine. It's travertine.
Yes, it's not like a slide that you see at an amusement park or a park. It's just like but you can just kind of.
I see.
Yes, sir.
So what feeds Slide Rock? What river?
It's the Oak Creek.
Oak Creek?
Yeah.
Okay. Coming down from there.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, all the shops, all the industries there, are they all local or are they just manufactured, brought in?
Yeah, it's a mixture of both. You can still see they have like a Safeway there. They have a Bash's there. They have franchises there. But a lot of it is local. There's a lot of local businesses there. Yes.
But the local shops, do they sell things that just local people have made, or are they
It's a mixture.
a mixture? Okay.
It's a mixture. A lot of the shops are, it's just a local artist selling their own wares. But a lot of it is just it's like a tourist shop where they just buy, but it's got little knickknacks that say Sedona on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there a Native American culture there? And if so, what tribe would they be?
I do not know that. I'm sorry. Yes.
When you guys went on the trip, did you have an opportunity to speak to the locals there, or how do they feel about all the tourists that come?
Well, from what I've talked to the people, I mean, they live off the tourists. I mean, that's what brings them their money. That's what allows them to have their shops. I mean, that's what gives them their jobs. So without the tourists, they wouldn't have jobs.
Right.
Wouldn't be able to survive. Yes.
When you guys visited, did you go to the McDonald's?
No. We did not go to McDonald's. We drove by the McDonald's, but when we go out when we go out places, we like to go to local places, like unique places we'd never be able to go to.
Good question.
Yes.
So being from Casa Grande and it's being more of a seasonal town, as we call like snowbirds and all that stuff, would you say Sedona is more like a year-round town because it's such a great scenery and the weather and all that
Correct.
stuff? So
Yes.
they don't rely so much on like say snowbirds or people coming in.
Correct. I've been there. We went there at the end of fall one time and it was busy. We've been there in the winter and it was busy.
Awesome.
It's busy year round. Yes.
Is it true that there's, I've heard there's a vortex in the middle of town where there's a garden there as well? And a lot of people are drawn to that.
All the vortexes I've read about have been outside of town. I haven't read about any vortexes inside of town.
One more quick one.
Yes.
How far is it away from the Grand Canyon?
So it's about 30 miles from Flagstaff, and then it's about another probably hour. So it's probably about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive from Sedona to the Grand Canyon. It's not a straight shot. There's a lot of winding roads that you have to take, but it's worth it for sure.
I have a question.
Yes.
When are you taking me?
Well, let's see. We can as soon as we can travel again.
What
How
are you
about
doing
that?
next week?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going camping with you.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I've heard that the juniper trees that grow near the vortexes grow in a spiral to like show proof of the vortex. Have you seen that? Have you
Yeah.
seen pictures?
I have not seen any of that, no, but I have heard the same stories, yes.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right.
Very cool.
Well, thank you all.